You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Apologies for the delay. I had to go ahead and quickly change all the graphics for the show because I was ready for a win because the Astros looked like it was going to be a cakewalk of a sweep. And then what do you know? The back end of the bullpen happens again, and Ryan Pressly just coughs up a lead and hands Josh Hader a situation that's not good. And then he, of course, gives it up there in the ninth. I mean, what a definition of the 2024 season for the Houston Astros. They get good for a few days, and then they do something stupid. Absolutely stupid and frustrating. And I, like all of you, am sick and tired of watching it. I'm sick and tired of watching the robotic ways the back end of the bullpen is managed. I'm sick of being stressed out when Brian Abreu pitches. I'm sick of knowing that Ryan Pressly is going to give up runs every single time. I'm sick of it. They should have won today's baseball game, and they have nobody to blame but themselves for it. I know that their pitching has rebounded a lot from the early portions of the season. I know that their bullpen has had a very, way better stretch, I should say, of games after that first month. But I don't care. I just don't care. If you're going to be a good baseball team, a baseball team that turns this thing around this season and eventually gets back to winning, you win games like this. You don't lose these. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. On Ryan Pressly for being bad, on Joe Espada for using him, not only today, but last night in a 5-run game where he threw 25 pitches and then bringing him back out today and saying, okay, go ahead, Ryan. Here's the 8th inning in a tight ball game. I know you just threw 25 pitches last night and you haven't been any good this season. Why? Why? You have other arms. I know that you used other arms last night too. But you're telling me that at this point of the season, Seth Martinez can't get you outs late in the game? You're telling me that Taylor Scott can't get some of these outs that Ryan Pressly's being asked to get? I know that they have guys for certain situations and everything. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with it, and you coughed up an opportunity today to get a sweep that you needed. I thought you were going to have it. Today's show, by the way, is brought to you by SupplyHouse. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to get your parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. It's been a while since we've come on here to do one of these shows where I am I'm angry. And I think I have every right to be angry. And you should have every right to be angry. And if you feel angry, that's completely fine. Don't come in the comments saying you'd want Brad Osmus at this point. Stop it. You didn't watch Brad Osmus manage. He was god-awful. There's a reason why he didn't get jobs. You don't want the Bagwell connection. Look, Espada's not the biggest problem of this baseball team. The biggest problem of this baseball team is underperformance across the board all season long and doing what they typically do. Now, again, first-year manager, making mistakes, right? And today, he made a big mistake. You could make the argument that, hey, look, most of the time when the Astros go and win a baseball game, he goes the same formula, correct? He goes to Brian Abreu in the 7th. He goes to Ryan Pressly in the 8th. He goes to Josh Hader in the 9th. And I know that Hader, gives it up there. I really thought Cabbage was going to catch that ball. And there was the controversy of the running around the base. I thought he ran past him on the replay. I thought that was good, close enough or good enough to say he ran past him, and that should be an out at that point. But I'm not going to get too mad at Hader because he's been really good lately. Now, of course, I am mad at him because you should be. I mean, look, he's brought in there to keep the lead or keep the game tied, right? And he didn't. He failed to do his job today as well. But I'm really the most frustrated and irritated with it because I don't understand it. I don't understand. Now, look, I know that you can go out and have a bad year. This is baseball. One year is not the same as the next year. All the years of wearing out your body and aging and what happened to Ryan Pressly? Did he get too butthurt about the Astros signing Josh Hader in the offseason that it has affected his performance this badly this season? I don't think it's that. I mean, it was definitely a storyline. It was definitely something that bothered him a lot. He made it pretty clear that it bothered him. But they look smart for not running back out with Ryan Presley as the closer this year. Could you imagine if he was the closer? They wouldn't win any games. They'd lose them all. But what happened to him? He's a gas can. He comes in, he's a total gas can. And don't even get me started about the guy in front of him. I know that Abreu's numbers have come back down. And everybody's like, Abreu's been so... No, everybody that tells you Abreu's been so good and you feel so... like, they're lying to your face. And I am talking about guys that I like on the broadcast, that I love. This fascination with Abreu and at times is like, he does nothing but come in and put guys on base immediately. There's not one clean. He's had like maybe 2 or 3 clean innings the whole year. At some point, I know he's been completely overused this year. I mean, Joe Espada has worn him out. But at some point, you're going to have to get clean innings. You can't keep walking on a tightrope and expecting it to end well every single time. There hasn't been a game in a while this season that makes me want to turn around and like punch this wall or slam one of those bobbleheads that's back here. Just something. I just want to crack one of their heads off. You had no business losing that baseball game today. No business at all. Your baseball team did enough to win. Your starting pitcher wasn't great. We'll talk about him in a minute. Your offense, though, did enough to win a baseball game. You score 7 runs in a game against a team that's not good in the Angels. You should win every single time. I mean, heck, the Angels had they'd had a long stretch of games before today where they hadn't scored more than 4 runs in a game. They're 25-40. I know the Astros came in today 30-35. That's the frustrating part is you had a chance today to get back to 4 games under 500. Now you got to go to San Francisco, play a Giants team they're not a cakewalk by any means. They're not great, and they've not been playing great of late, but they're going to be more difficult to get past than this Angels team was. And it's a ballpark that, offense usually isn't unbelievable. The ball doesn't fly in San Francisco. But it's just what irritates me the most about this baseball team is that, again, you can build momentum. You can build momentum and start to tease you just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then they just suck it right back. They do something like this. And again, I know that you're going to have these, even when they've been great, where they've won 107 games in a season, they've had a game or two like this during a year. It's a 162-game season. You are going to lose games like this occasionally. It's inevitable. But when the circumstances of where your team is at, piddling around, doing what they've been doing all year long, not taking care of their business, and then, I want to pour more salt on your wound today. Because I don't know if you checked I had the wrong day up. I had Saturday up still. Rangers actually won today, and the Mariners, I haven't even looked at what the Mariners did today. Where are the Mariners on this? I'm trying to find them. It was like, they won too. Great. I'll pour more salt on your wound. The Astros lost ground today after making it up the last couple of days. Yay. Fun. Thank you, Ryan Presley, for being a complete and total gas can. I'm pretty confident that there's, 77 of you watching live right now? I'm pretty confident that at least 4 of you could get a hit off Ryan Presley. And I don't even know any of you, as I'm watching live. If I know you, you could tell me I know you. But I think you could do it. By the way, if you're new to the channel today, thanks for joining us. I hope you're mad, and you enjoy me being mad today, because I'm mad as hell. You can hit the subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. I don't yell and get mad every game. I actually get excited. Last night we did one, and after midnight, it was fun. And we were having a good time. A lot of you showed up. I was way shocked at how many of you. I shouldn't be that shocked. It was a Saturday night. But we were basically partying last night. And here we are, 16, 18 hours later, whatever. Just want to kick something. Thanks to the Astros bullpen doing what they did. Let's talk about Verlander today. It's another start where not so good. Not what you like to see. Concerns for him and what he looks like moving forward. Let's talk about him in just a second. But right now, I want to tell you about SupplyHouse. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get an expert. So get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of pros today, all those trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Locked On Astros Postcast continues. Thank you for joining us live today. I appreciate it, guys. Of course, we've talked about it a couple times this weekend, and I said it a moment ago, but if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. We're creeping towards 1,000. If you want to make me feel better today, which it doesn't really make me feel better, it just makes me feel better that we're growing the channel, and we can keep getting bigger and take this thing to who knows where, because this is the clear future of the media. Doing it in other places is not, is not what it used to be. So please hit the subscribe button and come on back. Get us to that 1,000 number today. We could do it. We can do it, people. You can make it happen. You can also find this podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. Go search for Locked On Astros. You get this show and the Locked On Astros show. Brett and Eric every week doing their thing. Great show as well. All the Astros content that you need and want for nothing. Let's talk Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander was not very good again today for the second consecutive day. Our second consecutive start. He didn't pitch 2 days in a row. Not very good against the Cardinals. And, I tweeted this during the game, which, as always, as you can see right there on the little screen, I'm going to put my finger right there. Connor Michael is where you find me. It's changed. I'm not in radio anymore, so this is where it's going to stay. It's not changing again. And Michael Connor wasn't available, so Connor Michael is available. But you can follow me there. And I tweeted it out. He is aging in front of our eyes, and I love him. I said this last night. I absolutely love Justin Verlander. I love watching him pitch. It's been one of the best things of my Astros fandom life is watching, one of the greatest right-handed pitchers to ever do it, put on an Astros uniform every fifth day. And from 2017 through 2019, and then again in 20, or I should say, yeah, and then again in 20, what year was that? 2022, right? Yeah, his Cy Young year. Why am I struggling with Matt with what years it was all this? But again in 2022, dominant. As dominant as it gets. He is declining. His velocity continues to tick down in the wrong direction, which is okay. You don't have to throw 95, 96, 97 to beat guys. You can throw 92, occasionally 93, occasionally 94, and we've seen it. He can still reach back and touch 96, 97 if he absolutely needs it. But that's 2 consecutive starts now where he has no idea at all what is going on with his fastball. And that's not like him at all. He is, whether it's mechanics or grit, I think they said something on the radio broadcast today about, the grip. He's been trying to work on his grip, I think, for his four-seam fastball. But whatever it is, it's just not going how he wants it to go. Correct? Simple as that. It's been very, very bad. This is a pitcher, though, that has always found ways to win, has always found ways to get through it. And look, even when he's bad, now he had the start against the Yankees that was absolutely atrocious. Worst start of his Astros career that day. But, I mean, look, did he keep you from winning a baseball game today? No. He got through 5, which isn't very good. 4 runs, 3 strikeouts. He just doesn't miss bats anymore. That's what it is. That's the difference between Verlander a couple of years ago and Verlander now. I mean, since he's come back from coming back from his Tommy John year, he didn't strike guys out. He didn't miss bats like he did before Tommy John. Just simple as that. He still threw hard that year. He still got more strikeouts than innings pitched, but it wasn't the insane number that he had, 2019, where he struck out 300 batters. Now, probably aided by sticky stuff on his finger, but you know what? Again, the entire sport was doing it. As we found out later on, spider tack was all over the place. Doesn't matter. They need him, though, to be better than this. I said this a couple of nights ago when Fromber pitched so well through that complete game in the first game of this series. He is the best pitcher on this team, Fromber Valdez. And he has to perform like the best pitcher on his team consistently. He can't do his up, down, up, down. He can't do that. He has to find a consistent level, like he did a couple of years ago where he was in the Cy Young talk all year. And he was on the mound for the Game 6, that 1-year World Series, and he was brilliant. He has the stuff. He has the velocity. He has the makeup on the mound when he is good to be a staff ace every single time that he goes out there. Now, we all know that Fromber gets in his own head, gets in his own way. When things go bad, he'll screw up. And then when he blows up, it can be pretty epic. You take the good with the bad with him. But he's their staff ace. Justin Verlander is just not that anymore. He's still really, really, really good. And he is going to still have starts that he goes out there and looks awesome and is dominant and gets strikeouts and the fastball plays better. But it's pretty clear he is a guy now that is going to rely more on deception than anything else. And that's okay. There's plenty of guys that make that transition. I think one of the great examples, I know that he's not liked at all in Houston, but go look at, and now he's always hurt, so it's a little bit different. But go look at Clayton Kershaw over the years. A lot like Verlander. Was a pitcher that early in his career won with big power. Now, he fell off a lot earlier than Verlander did. Verlander had his mid-30s resurgence in terms of stability with health and strikeouts and power stuff coming back and all that. Like, Verlander had his period there in Detroit where it got bad and he dealt with some injuries and whatnot, but then he found it again, and then he found it again in Houston big time. But Kershaw is a guy that his stuff has diminished year after year after year after year, and he's found a way to live as a guy that goes out there and basically still posts an ERA sub-3 most years. Now, he hadn't pitched this year, but, I mean, last year the guy 24 starts, 13-5, 246, and still racked up 137 strikeouts in 131 2/3 innings because he has mastered his other stuff. Now, it's a little bit different. Kershaw always had that big crushing curveball that just is so hard to hit. And that's something that he still relies on to this day. And he can do that because he doesn't, because it's always been that good. With Verlander, you're seeing it. When he got to Houston, the slider became a big pitch that he started using again. He always has had a good curveball, but he doesn't use it as much. And in part, I think it's an Astros thing. Maybe they want to go to it. Maybe it's a comfort thing with him. He's added the changeup, which is the in vogue pitch for the Astros this season, is the changeup. It's a good pitch. It gets guys swing and a miss. It's just what it is. He's going to rely more on getting contact outs than ever before. And that's okay. You can do that. Again, like Kershaw has done for a long part of his career now. But he has to find that weapon. And I think that's what we're watching. We're trying to see is the changeup going to be that weapon that takes him into the evolution of his next phase of who he is on the mound? Not the dominant strikeout crazy, Verlander that we saw for all those years. Relying a little bit more on his defense. Maybe some more balls on the ground than there used to be compared to all the easy, lazy fly ball outs that he would get. But the one thing that he has to find is control of his fastball again. The control of his fastball is just not there for whatever reason. And he has not been good enough for the Astros out there on the mound of late. Not horrible, but not good enough. They need him to be better, given where the staff is at, given with the injuries and, how they're going to work their way through the rest of this season. They have to get more out of him. And, if he could hand the bullpen a game with fewer runs on the board, that's going to help, because clearly we see it today. You got Ryan Presley out there who's just going to go out there and give up runs. You've got Brian Abreu out there who's going to, make things interesting. And Josh Hader's, he's human like everybody else. He's going to give up something occasionally as well. Bad day. I was so excited. I was sitting there. I honestly, I didn't even, most days when I do you see the graphics up here, which I'll do them during the game. I try to get them ready as early as I can, because I'm an on-time prepared. That's just who I am. I don't like doing anything by the seat of my pants. But today I was so confident that I did that. I was in the kitchen. I'm cooking all of our food for tomorrow, for the next couple of days. Getting myself ready for the week, and I'm watching the game as we're going, and I'm like, they get up 7-4, and they won. I'm not even going to bother with making the graphics for them losing today. Why? Why would I waste my time? It's not happening. It's the Angels. They're going to pull off the win. What do you know? I got to scramble there at the very end. And it completely sours the mood of what the day was, because the day was fantastic up to that point overall, as you were well on your way to getting a win. Let's give you the latest on Alex Bregman. He just spoke with the media a moment ago about his hand leaving the game. Concern still for him, as the Astros are already down Kyle Tucker. We'll discuss it next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. You need to get yourself in on the action with PrizePicks. What are you waiting for? Makes games a lot more fun. Picking more or less on whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it's, NBA Finals action going on tonight. I know the Stanley Cup's going on. You got baseball in full action. Heck, before you know it, football is going to be back, and you're going to be doing it with the Texans and CJ Stroud, whoever it is. The numbers that you see that you like with PrizePicks. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a PrizePick lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 players' stat projections, and you're locked in. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePick community today. Select the finals means more on PrizePicks, and so do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. So again, go download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100 when you download the PrizePicks app. I had to have a sip of water. Locked On Astros Postcast here. Wrapping things up on a tough day for the Astros. A day where we were supposed to be talking about a sweep in Southern California. Instead, we're talking about a brutal late collapse to lose a baseball game and to lose ground in the American League West, because both the Mariners and the Rangers lost today. So the Astros fall to 6.5 out in the division. They're now a game and a half behind the Rangers for second. It really felt like, okay, it was going to, be better. Simple as that. I do check the comments. You guys have had a lot of comments today because a lot of you have been watching, and I appreciate it. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. I don't see all of them as we go because they're usually rolling in. I do see one from David, or not David, a minute ago. Who said it just a second ago? Shamrock said Dusty would have these guys at least 500. I don't know that. I don't know if that's fair to say necessarily. They're just below 500, but 5 games. Maybe, but I don't think anybody fixes what's going on with these players not playing at their level this year. They came out of the gates terrible, simple, and then they had a bunch of injuries, and that affected them as well. They've just been bad, and I'm not trying to minimize, and even Dusty Baker, like a baseball manager. Baseball managers do matter, and decision making does matter there, but of the 3 sports that we all love and watch, it matters the least. What matters is you go out there and you perform. And they went through 2 months of Alex Bregman being complete trash at the plate. Altuve was great, then went in the tank. Good to see him getting going, thank goodness. Jordan was really bad. Kyle Tucker was really the only guy on the team that was doing anything. Their catcher from last year who was great. Like, how is Joe Espada or Dusty Baker fixing that? I don't think anybody is. You can only say so many things. You can only tell a pitcher to not be but every time out so many times. Like, what manager or coach is going to say anything to Ryan Presley right now that's probably, going to fix him? Nobody is. He's going out there just leaving pitches over the middle of the plate. And then the teams are hitting him. Simple as that. Bregman, real quick on him. Leaves the game with the hit by pitch in the hand. Of course, concerning because he's been playing well lately. And they do need him badly to be good and to be in this lineup every day. X-rays were negative, apparently. Said he's fine. I would go ahead and assume he probably won't play tomorrow. And it's probably it's probably a smart thing to not do that there, of course, without Kyle Tucker. But look, that's another blow to this lineup. And Dubon will slot in there. We'll see what they do in the outfield in this series. Joey Loperfido you bring him back up here and he sits for 2 days. Can they get him back in the lineup somehow? So we'll see if Bregman gets out there. But the series against the Giants coming up this week, all of them late. Like I tell you every time there's a late West Coast game. I'm planning to do the Monday and Tuesday game. I'm not guaranteeing either of them because it's at 8:45 start. Got stuff during the day, my new life that's going on. It's very busy. It requires a lot of attention during the day, and I can't guarantee I can stay up that late every night. I'm getting old. I'm going to be 34 this year. So the plan is to do the games tomorrow night and Tuesday night. Tomorrow night's Spencer Arrighetti up against Kyle Harrison. You'd think Spencer will do well out there in that ballpark. Ronel Blanco versus Jordan Hicks on Tuesday. Then they'll wrap it up. We'll definitely do Wednesday's game. Day game, 2:45. Framber Valdez versus Logan Webb. That'll be a good pitching matchup there. Two sinker ball guys that'll probably just be getting ground ball after ground ball, and it'll probably be like an hour and a half long game. Another important series. I mean, look, the number one thing, and it stinks to always to end the series on a loss. They got the series win. They did need the series win. When you have the sweep right in your grasp, though, it just sucks. They have to go out there and find a way to win this series. Simple as that. So I think that they should win 2 out of 3 against that team, that Giants team. We'll see if they're able to execute it. Again, keep it locked with this channel. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get the notifications for tomorrow night. I feel at this moment, feel pretty good that we'll be here tomorrow night to do this. But if you're up late tomorrow night, join us. Thank you for joining us today. Find this podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros, and it is absolutely free. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. I'm going to go take out my anger on my treadmill now. We'll talk to you tomorrow night after Astros Giants right here on the Locked On Sports Houston page.